Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is chapter 63 of Cute Little Love Letters, and this one is titled In the Presence. Zero got up and walked to a cupboard nearby and opened the door to a tied-up and mouth-bound Manetta who had tears streaming down his face. "Dude," Denki gasped, quickly ripping the tape off Manetta's mouth. "Are you okay? Have you had any food or water? That's probably why you're so upset, right?" he asked sadly.
"Boobs!"
Manetta wailed.
"I missed out on seeing all the boobs and bikinis and the girls jumping around with everything jiggling and..."
He would have continued, but Sarah dispensed more tape and slapped it to his mouth again as quickly as he could. "No," Sarah said as he turned and walked off. "Dude, you gotta stop, otherwise Sarah won't let you out," Denki said with an apologetic chuckle. "Speak nicely and I'll untie you." Manetta nodded sadly, so Denki untied him slowly. "Nah, but I'm low-key glad that he didn't look at my girl like that," he thought as he freed his classmate. It was much later that night now, and half the girls had taken off their face masks and done their nightly routines before passing out on their futons, and the other half was still getting ready for bed. It had been such a long day, but you were still so hyped from kissing Denki that you didn't think that you'd be able to sleep just yet. "Are you going to bed, Yin?" Kendo asked as she walked out of the bathroom.
Not quite yet,"
you said.
"I might just sit on the deck out the back for a little bit, and then I'll come in."
"Okay, I'm going to turn in for now, though," Kendo said with a yawn. "Oh, it's been a big day."
"Night, Sika,"
you said sweetly. "Night, Yin. See you in the morning," she said, before turning to her bed, and you walked out onto the deck and headed down the end to where the table and chairs were, picking a chair to then sit in and stare out over the ocean. As you sat there, you could see this light blue haze that seemed to shift and shimmer on the light breeze, and you blinked a few times and rubbed your eyes, wondering if you were seeing things, but it was still there, gently lapping at the beach house mansion, and with it came the sound of snoring and deep breathing.
"Is everyone asleep already?"
you wondered. You were about to get up and investigate when a glowing little butterfly flitted into your vision and hovered around in front of your face. You smiled at it and went to put your finger out for it to land on, but it refused to do so. It didn't appear to be afraid of you, though, and kept hanging around. You smiled again and went to walk past it, but it refused to move out of your way and almost seemed to be blocking you from going back inside the mansion again. Curiously, you stepped back, and it followed you, flying so close to your stomach that you thought it was going to land on you. Back and back you stepped, with this little glowing butterfly pushing you to do so, and it was only when your foot nearly went off the top of the stairs at the end of the deck that you wondered if this butterfly was trying to tell you something.
"Are you wanting me to go somewhere?"
You asked it, and it flew around you, and then a little way down the stairs, and then back to you, and then down the stairs, and then back to you again, and it was such odd behaviour that you felt compelled to follow it. Down the stairs it led you, flitting off towards the tree line off to the right, and you paused.
"Is this a good idea?"
you wondered, stopping to look back at the house. You looked back to the butterfly, but it had gone, and you hesitated in the dark for a second before turning to head back to the house at speed. "Princess, forgive me, see?" a voice said, and you turned around to see a very handsome, human-sized fairy on one knee bowed towards you, with bow and quiver strapped to his back. But this fairy was refusing to leave the coverage of the forest and was staying in the tree line. "I don't mean to startle you, see, but if you'll give me a minute of your time, see?"
"I don't know you,"
you replied, taking a step back.
"What if you're Fox Fury?"
The fairy looked up at you, and the pain in his eyes was so raw. "My princess, I try not to be offended, see, but that really hurt," he said with tears in his eyes.
"Saria, she does not remember you. She's right to be cautious. She's also brazen to speak such names in the open,"
a calm and regal voice said from behind this fairy named Saria, and you squinted to try and see better into the darkness of the forest. "My queen, see," Saria said as he bowed his head again and then shuffled off to the side.
"Queen?"
you thought, your heart starting to race.
"He called me princess, and he called her queen. Is this..."
You took a step towards the tree line and peered into the darkness. "Saria, I will use light," the regal voice said, and Saria paused. "My queen, I do not advise it, see," he cautioned. "Will this little moonlight do, for you to see your granddaughter, see? You can see her a little, can you not?"
"I wish for her to see me. She might remember my face. I pray she will remember my face,"
the voice said, and it felt so homely that you bravely stepped forwards. Saria looked up in surprise and shuffled back even more. "Oh, my princess, please," he begged. "I'm caught between my queen, see, and your beauty, see. But please allow me to move to the side, see."
"Oh, sorry,"
you said, not understanding protocol and how he didn't want to be too close to royalty. "My sweet, my darling, Yin," the regal voice said to you, and you stepped even closer, as did this being. "I laid eyes on you when you were but a baby. You smiled at me," she said fondly. "I had you in my room, my royal room." Stepping closer still, you could now make out this lady's face, and your brows furrowed for a second, and then your eyes flew wide open. "Grandma," you whispered in awe. "I know you. I know your face. I know you're my grandma. Your room was yellow. I remember it. I remember it." "Yes," she cried. "Yes, it's me, Grandma." "Oh, forgive me," you said suddenly. "Do I call you by Queen? I'm so sorry. I'm not sure what to do." "Come to me," she said, her arms open. "I want you to call me Grandma, and I want to hug you again." Not as afraid now, you stepped forwards and embraced her, feeling her body being moved by the tears of joy. It was a joyous moment, and even Saria, who was silently kneeling off to the side, shed a happy tear at the long-awaited reunion. "Princess, my granddaughter," the Queen finally said as she pulled back from the hug. "Is your father well? My son, is he in good health?" "Yes, he is," you replied. "I only just found out recently about his past. He really is ever so sorry for what happened. Please forgive him." "Don't you worry, my darling princess. I hold no animosity towards him," the Queen said. "We are aware of what happened, as the one responsible dared to come into our midst to gloat. But I have my faithful charges look into the matter, and we now understand what transpired." "If it's not too much, I'd like to know the full story," you asked. "Does my uncle know what happened? My father assumed he's the king now, but I think that maybe that's not so since you're still with us." "The next in line for the throne, your father's brother, does not know the full story. He's unimpressed with his brother's actions, but I do not think he would go so far as to bring your father back for trial," the Queen said. "I really hope not," you said sadly. "Please, my darling, please tell your father that I'm still alive and that I care about him. I want him to know that all I hold is love inside my heart for him." Your eyes welled with tears, and you nodded your head. "I'll tell him, I promise," you said. "My Queen, see," Saria suddenly said, keeping his head down. "Best to talk quick, see. I'll need to be taking you away soon, see, in case it's been discovered that you've vanished, see." "Very well, Saria. Just give me a few minutes to explain the story to my dear granddaughter, and then we will regretfully be on our way," she sighed. Then she spoke to you. "Come, my dear, take a seat so I can tell you the story." Oh, here we go. We get the backstory here from the Queen, from your grandma. Stay tuned for this sounded so bogan. From Grandma. Chapter 64 coming tomorrow. I'll see you then.